Hi, today you're going to learn a recipe using sawdust. This is a recipe seen throughout Portugal. It is called Serradura, Portuguese sawdust pudding. This is very popular throughout Portugal, and it's also extremely popular in Macau. You can see from these pictures, it's often served as a dessert in restaurants, and even in convenience stores, it's already pre-made. They're crazy for it there. The reason it's popular in Macau is because it used to be a colony of Portugal. It was actually settled in 1557, and it was turned over to the People's Republic in China in 1999. But we'll get right to the recipe. Super simple. Like always, whenever you're whipping cream, I put the bowl in the refrigerator, especially if it's summertime. It just helps stabilize that whipped cream better. And you want to whip it at high speed. For the full recipe, you put in 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. And it's only been going for about a minute, and that's looking pretty good. For the full recipe, you'll put in about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And again, you can see it's stuck to the spoon, so that's looking good. So it shouldn't fall off the spoon at all. And now we're going to add in some condensed milk. Condensed milk is evaporated milk, where evaporated milk is milk that they just bring up the temperature and evaporate out. I believe it's about 60% of the water. But condensed milk is evaporated milk, but they add sugar to it. So it's really thick and sweet, obviously. And you want to add in a 14-ounce can for the full recipe. Just want to make sure that nothing's stuck on the sides, because that condensed milk is so thick. Some of it was sticking to the sides there. Okay, that's looking good. Should again still be sticking to the beater. Been less than 5 minutes since I started whipping the whipped cream, so the process goes pretty fast with a KitchenAid. I'll reserve the whipped cream mixture inside my refrigerator and crush my Bolacha Maria. For the full recipe, you want about 7 ounces of Bolacha Maria. These are a very popular biscuit in Portugal. They're not from Portugal originally, they're from England, but they're used in a lot of desserts in Portugal. So you could crush these in a food processor or just in like a 1-gallon Ziploc bag. And basically, you just want to turn them into sawdust. If you want to see another recipe using Bolacha Maria, check out this one. If you don't have a rolling pin, you could use a wine bottle. You really do want to work this into a fine powder. All right, the next step in the process is we're just going to fill up our fancy glassware. I have one of these disposable piping bags, so I'll just cut about a 1/2 inch hole off the tip. If you don't have a piping bag, the other thing you could do is use a gallon Ziploc bag and cut about a 1/2 inch tip. Anytime you're using pastry bags, it's best to really fold it over your entire hand to fill it up. And you almost always want to use a pastry bag bigger than what you think. If you're in the market for a pastry bag, always go bigger because they're just easier to fill up and not to have to refill. Put in the cream. Then kind of like a tube of toothpaste, you just want to work the cream down into the tip. Putting little layers on there. Use like the end of your dowel or maybe some kind of little bottle you have around the house or a spoon just to tap it down and kind of even it out a little bit. If you're using a pastry bag, you could use the tip to kind of like flatten it out and make it a little more even. The final tip is I always have some mint growing in my backyard for when I make sopes de Espírito Santo. And that was it. You could make these, a few hours in advance, and even you could put them in the freezer too, almost like turn into ice cream. Now you can make sawdust for your family. Serradura, or Portuguese sawdust pudding, pretty simple. Thanks for joining me. Now go cook for someone you love.